SAM Textbook Project. So you're going to click on the Module 1 SAM Textbook Project. Click on Start, download the files. You'll need the instructions, the start file, and the support file. Once the start file opens, I want you to click on it. And click Enable Editing. And while that's working, then you're going to go here to open the book, which is the link here, creating and modifying a flyer. Now I've positioned my screen so you can see both the textbook and the working file. Only disadvantage to doing that is that sometimes the ribbon does not completely show everything. If that is the case, what I'll do is maximize the screen so that you'll be able to see that. When you're working on the Module 1 project, the textbook project, what you're going to look for is these orange numbers, and that's what you're going to do. So it's going to tell you what you're going to do, and it's going to have you do it. And then at the end, there's some questions for each of the steps. It's not necessary to read the questions all the time, but it is obviously necessary for you to follow the steps. So it says to begin creating a flyer in this module, type the headline in the document window. The following steps are the first line of the document. So it says step 1, type wash your hands. That's what we're going to type over here. Capitalize, punctuate correctly, because it will count it wrong if it is not capitalized correctly. It's going to give you some information. You might want to read through that if you're not real familiar with Microsoft Word. Step 2 says print center to move the insertion point to the beginning of the next line. So I'm going to enter. Now my insertion point is on the next line. Let me turn the show hide button off because it's not on the directions yet. Okay, I'm going to turn the page. Then it's change the zoom width. It says click on the view on the ribbon to display the view tab. Click on the page width button to display the page width, the same width as the document. So we're going to go to view. And we're going to go to page width. Click on page width. Now yours, if you're at full screen, you have page width right here automatically, but because I'm not at full screen, it makes it a smaller dropout box so that we can get to it. So page width. That's finished with that page. So turn that page. Now display formatting marks. That's what I had already turned on. So it's going to tell you what it's going to look like. It's going to tell you how to do it. And then it says click home. And then you're going to go over here to the paragraph, and the formatting marks looks like the paragraph symbol. And that shows it so that you can see where your lines and your paragraphs are, where your spaces are. You have dots between each of the words. Those little dots mean that there's a space there. The ways to do it is to click Control and then Shift and then the asterisk sign, and that'll turn it on and off. But it's just as easy to do it there. Okay, Wordwrap. Wordwrap allows you to type words in a paragraph continuously without pressing Enter at the end of each line. As you type word extends beyond the right margin, Word automatically positions that word on the next line with the insertion point. So it says insert a blank line in a document as shown in later steps to begin a new paragraph, determine a short line of text in the next line, to respond to questions or prompts in the Word dialog box and panes. Now, all these look like steps, but it says shown later in a later set of steps. So we're not actually going to do that. It's just showing us. It's a little misleading. To word wrap text as you type, now we're going to do the steps. Type the first sentence of the body, washing your hands with soap and water. Okay, so we're going to type that. around. Press enter to put your insertion point on the next slide. So picture. Turn the page. And again, this is a very, very easy lesson to do out of chapter 1. It's just giving you the very basics. So it does get more complicated as it goes along, but hopefully these videos will help you. We went over some of these in vocabulary words in the previous lesson. Enter more text with spelling and grammar errors, so I think it's going to make us type in some errors deliberately so we can see it. So with the insertion position as shown in figure 1-21, oops, I didn't want to do that. Looking for 1-21. Okay, so mine is looking like that. Okay, good. I'm going to type in the word out. And keep in mind that you've got to really look, because I almost skipped that as well. Type in the word out. Press enter. It wants us to deliberately misspell clean. Other one spelled directly. And if you look at figure 1-22, you're going to see some of these squiggly underlines. If you have a misspelled word, it's red. If there's something grammatically wrong, it's going to be a blue dotted line. And if it's a word usage suggestion, like off of, it's going to be, I'm not getting the 4R, am I? I guess it thinks it's spelled right, okay? It's actually a right word, it's just incorrectly used here. I spell it, to type it in the same way the book has it. Yeah. Okay, so it didn't catch this one, but we're going to fix those in a second on the next steps. Again, grammar work in your document. I'm going to give you the directions and what you're going to do. We're going to look at our flagged errors, and we're going to start working on getting them fixed. So step 1, where's step 1? Step 1, right-click the word flagged with the red wavy underline, which is clean. So I'll right-click it, and it's going to give us some choices, and it also gives us the definitions below it. So clean running water is the right one we want, so we'll click it, and it automatically changes the word for us. And step 2, click the desired correction, clean, we did that. It fixes it. Right click the flag blue double underline 4. Now ours did not underline it. 4 F-O-R-E is an actual word, but it just didn't catch it, so we're going to have to correct this the old way. Just get rid of the E. And then the next one, what if a flag text is not a grammar error? We just don't fix it. Click the desired correction 4 in this case, and then right click the text with the gold underline, which should be ours off of. Right click that, and it's going to give us a list of choices. We don't have to say off of hands, we can just say off hands. And that's what it's suggesting that we do. So we're going to choose off in step 6. So when you get the of off of there. And then click it. I'm looking for this one here. I click the duplicate word. Oh, I didn't type in or twice, did I? So if I had typed in or twice, it would be here. Using tau or in your draft. I think it says or. When we typed it, I typed that incorrectly. Yeah, it said or, and we're supposed to right click it and delete it. I guess my brain automatically corrected. Okay, so we would have deleted the repeated word, then we're going to click end to move to the insertion point to the end of the current line. So I'm just going to click here because I'm on the wrong line anyway. Okay, so that's steps 1 through 8. Turn the page. Inserting a blank line. With the insertion point at the end of the last line of the text, press enter to position the point to the next line. Oops, I've got to push the right buttons on the right screens here. The insertion point on the blank line, insert another blank line. So it's going to look like this, just like in the directions. Page. 1.5J. With the insertion point positioned as shown where we were at just a minute ago, we're going to put in print, enter, and then after eating, tissue, press enter. We're doing all the typing before we do the formatting. It's always a good way to do it because that way you don't have to go in and change something because you added a word or whatever. It changes all your formatting up, puts it on the wrong line or something. Always type the text and information first and then format after. Before, during, and after preparing the food. And after using or assisting someone. After touching animal, feeding, the signature line in the flyer is going to say visit www.foodworkers.com for additional hand washing tips. So, enter on this last line. Like this, and you have the web link underlined. Automatically does that for us. We can turn that off if we want. We'll do that a little bit later. Okay, navigating a document. Okay, you can only view a portion of your document on the screen throughout a document window. At some point when you type text or insert objects such as pictures, Word will probably scroll to the top or bottom portion of a document off the screen. Although you cannot see the text and objects when they scroll off the screen, they remain in the document. So we know that if we scroll up or down, there's still more stuff in the document, such as this textbook that we're reading. Okay, and there's some shortcuts if you want to read through those about how to move the insertion point around. Also use your mouse. Use the scroll bar over here on the side to scroll up and down. I use that a lot. Okay, and then it's going to go into save the document for the first time. Now remember, we're saving ours based on the instructions that were on our SAM module. So what we're going to do is I'm going to switch over to that real quick, and we're going to do the save with that. Okay, so it's going to just show you how to save. So we find that document. what we're going to do is just save it with a 2 at the end. So we downloaded our original document, so now we're going to save as. I'm going to put mine in my downloads folder just for sake. And then we're going to, right here at the very end, _2. We'll go back and fix that if we need to. So this is called the Backstage View. That's what this is telling us right here. We click on the Save As button, or the File button. This is all our Backstage View. We have Home, New, Open, Information, Save as a PDF, Print, Export, Transform. We also have some options down here. So this is called the Backstage View. That's what it wants us to see. Okay, so we'll go to Save As, and then we'll put the 2 here. I think I already did that, but I don't think I clicked Save. I'm going to 2, and then we'll click on Save. And then it saves it. And then we'll change the file name before we upload it, if the directions tell us to change it. Actually, it's telling us to save it as unformatted. So let's do that this way. Let's go File, Save As, and then change the name to that. We can always go back in and change it later if we need to, because I still have that document. So it says SCWD. It's always a good idea to save all your words and everything before you do formatting anyway. So if you make a major mistake, you can go back and start over with the formatting. Okay. So that's formatting. Now we're going, or unformatting. Now we're going to go in and start doing formatting. We have paragraph formatting and we have character formatting. Now, remember I told you at the very beginning of all the lessons that here's our unformatted flyer that we'll probably upload, as well as the formatted flyer. I don't remember if the directions tell us to upload both or just one, but here's our unformatted one that we just saved, and now we're going to go ahead and format our document. So it talks about font sizes and themes. You all did the vocabulary words, so you understand some of those terms. Skipping down through the stuff that you'll be reading on your own. Changing the document theme. And here we are. Okay, here's our viewing. And then here are the steps. So we're going to click on Control Home. Control Home should just take us to the very top of our document. Make sure I have this document selected. Control Home. It takes us to our very top of our document. Now we're going to click on Design, and we're going to click on Themes. So we'll click on Design, Themes. Let's scroll this down to see where we're at. It wants us to choose the slate theme. So we're going to go over here and we're going to find slate. I don't see it right here, so I'm going to scroll down. Notice that they are not in alphabetical order. If your themes don't populate the first time you use it, you just go back to another tab and then come back over here to Design and Themes, and then they should populate. Sometimes they won't populate the very first time you use a word. Click on Slate, and it changes it. We don't really see a whole awful lot of change, but it did change our font automatically. But it also changed some color formatting and things as well. So now we're going to do centering for the paragraph. So it says click on Home on the ribbon to display the Home tab. And then we're going to go to the paragraph that we're going to center, which is the Wash Your Hands. So I have my insertion point on Wash Your Hands. Then we'll click on the Center button. Now on my Home tab, and because I'm still minimized, or not minimized, but not a full window, I can still see my paragraph options here in my paragraph group. So this is left aligned. I hold the mouse over it, and then this is center. I'm going to click on the center button, and it's going to center my text on that line. Go to the next page, to the steps, and then it's to center another paragraph. So click somewhere in the paragraph to be centered. In this case, the second paragraph of the flyer. I'll click on the second paragraph. I usually just click at the front, but it doesn't really matter where you do it as long as it's in that line. Then we'll click on the center button again, and it centers it. Yeah, it looks like this. Told you these steps are pretty easy this time. Formatting single versus multiple paragraphs and characters, it's going to talk about it. Then it's going to tell you if you're using a touch screen. Now to select a line. So it wants a default font size of 11 is too small for a headline and a flyer. So we're going to increase it. So remember, it tells you what you're doing, and then it's going to tell you how to do it. So move the pointer to the left of the line to be selected. This is going to be our headline, the What's Your Hands headline. It wants us to select the entire line. So if I hold my mouse, let's see, how does it want us to do it? To the right pointing arrow. Okay, so we're going to move our mouse over here to the margin area of our lines or of our document, and then we're going to line it up with that first line. You see how it turns into an arrow? That's what it's asking us in step one. And then when we click on it, it selects the entire line. So not just this part, but the whole entire line. So if we type anything on the whole line, it's going to do whatever we're telling it to do when we change it, which is our font size. There's other ways to do it. That's what I was wondering about. If it just wants to select it by clicking and dragging. Now it wants us to change the font. So it's font arrow, font group. I'm going to scroll down so you can see it here. So we're going to go to home, and this is our font group, and then our font sizes. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see what size it wants it. It wants it at a 36 font. So we're going to go here to the font size, click, drag down to 36, and then it makes it 36 font. It tells you other ways to do it if you want to. And it's going to talk about the default font itself. It talks about default as Calibri, but remember we're in Slate theme, so now we have a different font. It says Callisto up here. Now it wants us to change it from Callisto to Rockwell Bold. And it's more of a bold style, so it's going to draw attention to the font. So that's what we're going to do. So step one says with the text selected, it's still selected. It wants us to go to font. We're going to find Rockwell Extra Bold. And these are in alphabetical order. You have the recently used up here, and then down here are the alphabetized ones. So we're going to go to Rockwell Extra Bold under the R's. Rockwell Extra Bold. Click on it, and it changes it to Rockwell Extra Bold. As I've mentioned before, make sure that you're on the Word app and not on the one that has a URL up here, which is the web-based version of Word. Office 365, the web-based version, you don't want that. You want the actual app. Office 2019, Office 365 app. Okay, to change the case of the selected text, okay, it says the headline currently shows the first letter of each word capitalized, which is referred to as initial caps, but it wants to make us the whole thing capitalized. So instead of retyping it, we can actually use what's called change the case button. So we're going to go over here to our A. Hold on, let me find it right here. On our font group, on the home tab, font group, and we have this little A here. You click on it, it gives you different choices. You have lowercase, where they're all going to be lowercase, all uppercase, or capitalize each word, or we can toggle the case. So we want all uppercase. So we'll click on all uppercase. It changes the whole entire line that's selected to all uppercase. That's step two. Changes it all to uppercase. And we'll scroll down, make sure there's no more choices or no more steps to do. And then we're on J. To apply a preset text, effect, or selected text, okay, we're going to provide, we're going to change some text effects. So with the selected text effects, okay, we're still in Watch Our Hands. We're going to go Text Effects and Typography button, which is this button right here. And it's going to give us some choices. Now, because our theme has been selected, we have all the different theme colors that are based on that theme. And if you notice, if I hold the mouse over each of those different effects, we can see what they are. So if you're choosing to make it the way you want it to be, then you would do this. Of course, we're following directions, so let's do what the directions tell us to do. So it says point to white, or to fill white, outline brown, accent color 1, glow brown, accent color 1. Okay, very, very long thing, but the good thing is it tells us what to put it here. The fourth text effect in the second row, so that's what we're going to do. This is the fourth in the second row. Second row, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you hold the mouse like that, then you can see it. So it's filled white, it's white on the inside, outline is brown, and then the accent color, we don't really know that, it's just going to tell us. And then it says glow brown accent color 1, that's exactly what it says in our directions, so we're going to click on it. And then we were able to see it in our live preview. Now we can see it, verify it with our document, with our instructions. Okay, so we clicked it, and then we're going to unselect the line. That's what number 4 says. So we just click anywhere else in our document that unselects that line. Click the next button to shade the paragraph. Now we're going to shade a paragraph. Click somewhere in the paragraph to be shaded, and I believe, yeah, it's the whole line. So we're going to hold our mouse over here to the line again, and select the line again. Now, I'm going to slip anywhere inside the paragraph, so I'm going to do it this way. Then we're going to go to the shading, which is this one here. No. Paragraph. Oh, talking about paragraph, not line. Fine. Paragraph. Here's our shading button right here. So we click on it, and I'm looking for what it tells us to do. It hasn't told us yet. It shows it right here, but it hasn't in the directions. So I'm going to scroll down here and find it. Step 2. Click brown accent 4, darker 25. Now, on themes, you have 2 different theme palettes. You have a color palette here that is our standard color palette, and then you have your theme color palette, which is here. So these all up here are one name. Light gray background 2. This one is brown accent 1. We're looking for brown accent 4. So what you would do is you'd find it across the top here first. And then it says darker 25. So then we have the lighters down here. These are all accent 4. So we're going to find darker 25. Now I know it says 8th color and 5th row, but sometimes it won't give us those exact steps. So that's a way to do it. On the theme colors, you have the colors themselves here, and then you have the lighter or darkers here. So we find accent 4 again, and then darker 25. All right, and that does our paragraph. Then to select the paragraph, move the pointer to the paragraph to be selected, then triple click to select the whole paragraph. So washing our hands is the one that we're going to do. I'm going to triple click. If I double click, it's one word. If I triple click, it selects the whole paragraph. So that's the whole paragraph. Now it's going to have us change something on that. So click the font arrow, font to do the font color gallery. And it wants us to change it to red accent 5, darker 25. So font color, and red accent 5. So we're going to go, okay, it's an accent, so it's a theme color. That's brown. Okay, there's red accent 5. And then remember, darker 25. These are the lighters. And then here's going to start with the darker 25. Okay. Now, select off of it just so you can see it changed it from a black color to this color. So I'm going to triple click again to select it. Now we're going to finish step 2. Let's find step 3. Okay, that was it. So it says font size now. Font of characters in the currently selected paragraph is 11 point. We want to make it 22 point. So it tells us with the text selected, click 22 font, and then click anywhere to remove the selection. So 22 font here, 22 font. There we go. And we're done. I'm going to click out somewhere to deselect that line. And then it should look like what's here. It is. Moving on to the next step. I'm going to start speeding up a little bit. Change the zoom percentage. This just allows you to see everything on your screen. Now remember, I am using only half the screen, so ours is going to look a little differently. But you can use the zoom in and zoom out. Here's the zoom down here at the bottom. I can click on this and I can drag the zoom. It's helpful when we're doing some formatting with something that we want to see. Or we can even zoom out just so we can see what the whole document looks like. You can also use the plus buttons and the minus buttons. And that's what zooming does. To select multiple lines, the next formatting step for the flyer is to increase the font size of the characters from the word how to the last line of the body copy to the signature line above the word, the Y part. I mean, not the Y part, but above the signature line. I saw the word Y there and I read it. So we're going to do that. Scroll to if necessary so that all the text will be formatted. It's displayed on the screen. It showed us how to zoom, so now we have it all on here. Move the pointer to the left of the first paragraph to be selected until it turns to an arrow that's pointing to the right, and then it wants us to click and drag down. And when I say click and drag, I mean click, hold the pointer or hold the mouse button down, and then drag down as I'm holding the mouse button down. And that selects it all. It should select it all like this. And then it's going to tell us to change the font size to 20. Back over here. Font size to 20. It changes the whole font of everything that's selected. And it says click anywhere in the document to remove the selection. So I'll click here just to get rid of the selection. And then we're going to number a list of paragraphs. Okay, so we're going to do numbering. So if scroll the position to the text to be formatted in document window. So we're going to do the how part first. Drag downward to all the paragraph that will be formatted selected. So we're going to do all of the how. So we're going to hold the pointer here again. Click and drag down. That selects all of it. Oops, there's step 2 on that page, I'm sorry. Step 2. Here's step 1, here's step 2. Click the numbering button on the home paragraph group. So we're on home. And the numbering button is this one right here. Okay. Click on the numbering, and it puts the numbers in there 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. To undo and redo an action, Word allows us to undo things or to redo them. So it says click the undo button to reverse our most recent action. So I'm going to click on undo. It's up here at the very, very top of our bar. And I deselected the text. So that was taken off. And then I'm going to click on undo again and it gets rid of the numbers. So see, all the numbers are gone. Now if we want to redo it, we're going to click on the redo button, which is step 2. And it's going to redo the number. Okay. And then now we're going to do a bulleted list. There's a series of paragraphs with a bullet. So if necessary, scroll the position the text will be formatted. We're going to do the when. We'll select the when. And to format. So we're going to do the bullet list. And we select it. Now step 2, click bullets button. Okay, so bullets button is, sorry, it's right here. This is the bullets button. It's a bullets. So it should look like this. Remember the little arrows here are the formatting marks, just like the dots are and the paragraph marks are. So those don't actually show up, those little arrows don't. It's just showing that it's bulleted, it's a bulleted list. And the arrows actually indicate whether it's tabbed over or not. Just a little extra information there. Okay, auto format as you type. When we typed our hyperlink down here, it automatically formatted it as a hyperlink, so it underlined it for us. This is what this is reading to us. And it also will do things, it also has other auto formatting, such as if you put a little colon and a closed parentheses, it'll turn it into a smiley face for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that auto formatting. So it says to right click the format right here. And then we have the choices. And the step says step 2, remove the hyperlink. So we're going to click on remove hyperlink. And it removes a hyperlink for us. Now if we're printing this, we don't need a hyperlink because you can't click on a printed document. If it's a electronic document, then we might want to have left that in there so somebody could have clicked on it if we emailed it to them. Okay, to center another paragraph. So see here. The signature lines to be centered. So click somewhere in the paragraph to be centered. So this is a signature line. So we already are in it. And then click the center button. So that centers it. Next. Use the mini toolbar to format the text. We'll select the line. The font size is going to go to 18. This is, let's see, click 18. Was it using the mini toolbar? I'm sorry. Okay, let me undo. Let me do this again. So if I click here, here's what's called the mini toolbar. It just pops up right here. That's what the mini toolbar is. It tells us to go to 18. So I did that. And then if it's still selected, click the font arrow to do the color, and it wants us to go to red accent darker. So right here is our font color. And we know red is over here. And red accent 5, darker 25. I think it's this one. Darker 25. Click anywhere in the document window to remove the selection from the text. So I'm doing that. Turn the page. Now to select a group of words. So now we're going to select different words. So we're going to click and drag now. So drag the pointer through the last character of the text to be selected. And this word, tips. Additional hand washing tips. Drag to tips. But we didn't select the period, just the S and the tips. And it wants us to underline. Okay. So with the text selected, we're going to underline. So our underline button, we have bold here, italics, and then underline. So we're going to click on underline. It's not underlined, of course. And then italicize. It wants us to italicize. So let's see here. Click somewhere in the word to be italicized. The word prevent. I'm looking for where prevent is. And right here. So I'm going to double click it to choose the word prevent. And we're going to click italicize. It doesn't show us the word prevent here. to select non-adjacent text. Now, non-adjacent means not next to each other. So, wet hands, those are adjacent. Non-adjacent would be like wet and clean. They're not next to each other. There's something in between them. So that's what non-adjacent means. So the next step is to select the first word in every paragraph in the numbered list. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry. And bold them. So I'm going to double click wet. I'm going to hold the control button down. That's what it's telling us to do in step 2. And then we're going to click on the word lather. We'll double click the word lather. And then I'm going to hold the control button down and I'm going to do the words scrub, rinse, and dry. So double click scrub, double click rinse, and double click dry. So now I've selected all those non-adjacent cells. Now I'm going to click on the bold button. So right here is our bold button. Click on it, and it bolds those. Click anywhere in the document to remove the selection. So click somewhere, gets rid of our selection. In selecting text, there's a lot of different ways to select text. We talked about a couple of them, like double clicking or triple clicking to select a line, pointing and clicking. A save an existing document with a different file name. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to save it with a different name. We're going to call it Washing Hand Flyer Formatted. We're going to go File, the Backstage View again. Save as. We're going to go up here and we're going to WD underscore Word. So Washing Hand Flyer Formatted. So all I'm going to do is go to here, Washing Hands Flyer Unformatted. I'll get rid of the un, F, and then capitalize. So Washing Hands Flyer Formatted. I'll save, and I have it saved. Okay. Change the page. Inserting and formatting a picture in a Word document. So now we're going to insert a picture. Remember we downloaded that picture when we downloaded the files earlier. It says down here still. It says support and then JPEG. So this is our picture. I actually downloaded it twice. So insert the picture, reduce the size of the picture, and change the look of the picture. So that's what we're getting ready to do. I know they're orange, but it's just telling us what we're going to do. So now we're going to center a paragraph in the flyer. The digital picture showing hand washing should be centered. So we're going to create the place to put the picture, and then we're going to center it. So click somewhere in the paragraph to be centered. In this case, the blank line below the numbered list. So we have a little numbered list, and we have this blank line right here. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on center, and that centers the paragraph, which would also center whatever we put there. So now we have it centered just like that. Now we're going to probably insert the picture. Yes, so insert a picture from a file. Okay, we downloaded it with our SAM, so we downloaded the file. With necessary position the insertion point where we're going to insert the picture. We already have our insertion point here. And we'll click on Insert. And then we're going to go here to Pictures. And then we're going to go from this device, because we downloaded it, and it's in our Downloads folder. We have our Downloads folder. And it is called Support WD. So we'll go down here to where it says Support WD Washing Hands. Click on that. Click on Insert. And it puts us our picture. Found the picture. Clicked on Insert. Inserted it just like this. Turn the page. To change the zoom to one page. Okay. We should already be zoomed to one page. Let us look. Home. View. Zoom. One page. There we go. Resize an object proportionally. Okay, now when you want to resize a picture, you don't want to click and drag on the side, because if I click this and drag it to the left, it's going to make whatever is in here tall and skinny. If I click on this or this and drag it up, it's going to make everything short and fat. So that's not going to be proportional. So to make it proportional, we're going to have to click and drag from the corners. Okay? So be sure the picture is still selected. If necessary, click the Picture Tools Format to display the Picture Tools Format tab. We'll click on the picture, and we have the picture format right here. Now we can also change the size of the picture here as well. So point to the lower left corner sizing handle of the picture so that the pointer shapes to a two-headed arrow. Drag the sizing handle diagonally until the inward to the lower left corner of the position is positioned approximately up, and the flyer contents fit on one single page. Okay, so we're going to click here and drag. Now mine is not fitting on one page, so I have a font size that's wrong based on what's in here, and I'm going to have to go back and find that. Release the mouse button. In this case, you should have a height of about 2 and a width of about 3. So mine is 2 and 1.7, so I'm going to click and drag it just a little bit more. It's almost 2 and 3. But that's close enough. Now I can actually go in here and change it to 2 and 3. And since it doesn't say exactly, I'm going to just leave it at that. To apply a picture style. Now we're going to apply a picture style. So it's not just a picture here. We can put different things on it. So ensure the picture is still selected. It is. We're going to Picture Format. We're going to Picture Format tab. If you don't see the Picture Format tab up here, it's because you selected somewhere else and not on the picture, and there's no Picture Format tab. Click on the picture, and you get to a Picture Format tab. You can click on the tab. Okay. Let's see here. And that's what this is describing. So More button on the Picture Styles Gallery. Now I can't really see my Picture Styles Gallery because I have it minimized. So I'm going to maximize my picture right here so you can see. And now you can see where the picture styles are based on what's in the book. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. And we already know picture styles are right here. So we're talking about the quick styles. So snip diagonal corner white in the picture styles gallery. It's the one that we want. So I'll click here. And then it's supposed to be diagonal corner white. That's rounded. Snip diagonal corner white. Okay. See how the corners are are cut on the top right and the bottom left. Click on that, and that makes it what it's supposed to look like. Okay, to apply a picture effect. Okay, different effects such as like glowing, reflections, beveling it, 3D rotations. So we still have the picture selected. Point to Shadow in the Picture Effects menu in the gallery. Okay. So we have our effects. Right here. This is the second one. Now we can also maximize it if you couldn't find it, and then the text is right here for picture effects. So it's this one right here, picture effects, and shadow gallery. So we can go to shadow, and it says shadow, and it says point to perspective upper left in the shadow gallery. So perspective is down here in the section, and then upper left. And just hold the mouse over until we see perspective upper left. Click on it, and it creates this shadow. You can see that it looks like that. Click somewhere in the document, and you're going to notice that the Pictures Format tab up here is going away. So click, and the Picture Format tab goes away. Let's see here. I'm looking at Figure 187 because it's showing color buttons, and we haven't done anything with that yet. So it looks like we're going to change some colors. So it's talking about enhancing the page by changing some colors. Does it need a frame border? Is spacing in the paragraphs correct? Etc., etc. We already know ours isn't because it's fitting on 2 pages. And then it's going to give you color meanings, okay? And orange denotes success, victory, creativity. Yellow suggests sunshine, happiness. So here's some of the things that you might want to look at when you're thinking of what to use. Green symbolizes growth, healthiness. So that's probably why we're going to be using green, because washing our hands makes us healthy or keeps us healthy. Okay, so to change the theme colors, we're going to go to the theme colors. So we're going to go to our design tab. And then we have our themes here, but over here we have our theme colors. So here's our theme color. So now it looks like that the figure that we were looking at a while ago. And what's blue 2 in the colors gallery? So we have blue 2 right here. Click on that. And it's going to change all of the colors that we had that were that red 5. And then our color underneath here, all of that has now been changed. Okay. A really quick way to make sure and change all of our colors at once using themes. Way easier than going back and changing everything. So add a page border is what we're going to do now. So it says click on the page borders under the page background group. So we're in our design tab still. We have our document formatting here where we did our colors and our theme. So over here we have a page background group. We have page borders. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to give us a dialog launcher. And we have all the different types of things. No border, box border, shadow border, 3D, or custom. And then we have the line of the border, and then the thickness of the border. And we also have art, and we also can apply it to paragraphs or the whole document. And we're going to do the whole document today. So we want a blue-green border. So borders, page background group, we did that. Click the box. So we're going to do a box border all the way around. And then we're going to pick the third border style from the list. Bottom of the style list. Third from the bottom. Okay. Third border style from the bottom. That's what I was having trouble finding. So I had to scroll all the way down to the bottom and then pick third from the bottom. So now we have that border. Now click the arrow to display the color palette. So we're going to go to color of the actual border. And once turquoise, accent 3, darker 25. So we're going to hold it over until we find turquoise. And it says turquoise accent 3, so that's not the right one. Turquoise accent 3, darker 25, so it should be down here in the darker section. And I quickly changed it to a 3-point width. And it looks like that's the one we're doing. So just click OK to add the border to the page. So click OK. It adds that border to the page. Now the colors in the textbook and the colors in your document may not match exactly because remember, printing is a little different than what your computer screen will sometimes show, even though this is on the computer screen. Okay, change the spacing before and after paragraphs. So the default spacing before a paragraph in Word is 0 points, and below after is 8 points. In the flyer, you want to decrease the spacing below, which is after the paragraph containing the words how and when, so that things will fit better. Okay, so position the insertion point in the paragraph to be adjusted. In this case, how. Make sure it's the whole paragraph or just the word paragraph. I think it's just the word. Now, click on here. We're going to home. Our paragraph spacing is right here. Oh, it wants us to do it through the layout. Okay, we have paragraph spacing here too. And then after, we're going to change it to 0. So I got rid of it. And the next paragraph to be adjusted is when. 0. This one says position insertion point. Click the spacing before arrow, and we want it 12 points. 12 points. Which it moves it down. Okay, if the text flows to 2 pages, which ours does, it says position, reduce the spacing above and below paragraphs as necessary. So I'm going to take and select all of these. I'm going to change these to 0. I'm going to change the paragraph spacing on this one to 0. And I'm going to change the spacing on all of these to 0. And it's still not fitting on one page. I did something wrong. I'm going to have to go back and find it. Changing document properties allows us to just have ways of computers can view or search for information. So it says click on the file to go to the Backstage View. And then in the comments in the property, go to Properties, Information, and here's our properties right here. And it says Properties List. The comments text box. So here's our comments, and add comments, and it says CIS 101 assignment. Now, and it wants us to go back to the document window. Turn the page to save it in document with the same file name. We're just going to click on the Save button up here. It looks like the old school disk, floppy disk, so you just click on it, and then automatically saves it. Because we already have it saved as formatted. And now it wants us to close the document. So we can click on File and Close, or we can just hit the Close button again. I'm just scrolling through the text to make sure we don't have anything else. Once we've created a save, then we can open the document. We already know how to do that. Zoom width, we did that a while ago. Okay, scroll through the document and click the file on the left, type thin. So clean running water. And then apply. Clean running water. Then apply. So, cutting, copying, and pasting. So we have a copy and paste here on the Home tab. And we have a thing called a clipboard. When we copy something, that's what it goes to. It's just called a clipboard. To delete and cut text, see on the Home tab, double click the word to be selected, in the case of the word then. So double click the word then, click the cut button, which is the scissors, cut it. And then if we want to paste, if necessary, scroll to the numbered list, apply them. Word clean in this case. Click on copy, double click the word copy, or double click the word clean. Go up here to copy, which is the two pieces of paper. It copies it. And we're going to go into the left of the word towel. So dry hands as well as using a clean towel. So we're going to put the insertion point here. Then we're going to click on the paste button here. And it's going to put it in the word clean right here. So so that's how that you use the copy and the paste. Alright, so display the paste options menu. If we want to look at the paste options, we have right here the drop down on paste, and it gives us the different options. And each of those are different ways to paste something into a document. Just click to remove the options. We'll go over those options a little bit later as we do things. To move text, okay, you can click and drag and drop. Okay, so go to the necessary, the text to be moved. In this case, the second bulleted item before, during, and after preparing food. So it looks like it wants us to move it to before the after eating. So we're going to go down here. I'm going to select this text. And we're going to click it and drag it up here to after. And then see how it moves it here. And puts the next line below it. So before it was after and then before. And now it's before and after, like ours says. To switch to a read mode, we don't really use a lot of the read mode, but if you want to do that, Control-Hold, position the insertion point at the top. You can click on the status bar to change it to read mode, which is the book, and it changes it to a read mode. So it's not like a piece of paper, it's more like a book. Go back here to normal. Switch to print layout view. So you can click on the print layout view on the status bar as well. This is what it would look like if you printed it. Oh no, that's a print layout view, the one we're on. Sorry. Save a document with the same file name. A lot of these things at the very end are just stuff to know how to do. Again, this is very basic Word. To print a document, click on the File button to go in the Backstage View, click Print in the Backstage View to view a print preview. So File, and Print. This is what it would look like. Now mine does not look the same as that one. My margins or something are off. It looks like maybe I have an extra space at the very top of my document. So that's what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to edit it and fix it. Because it should look like this where it all fits on one piece of paper. Okay. And then using help, use the tell me box. Let me go up here and I'll show you where the tell me box is. If you need to do something like margins, because that's what it's getting ready to tell us to do, you can go up here to the tell me box and you can type in margins. You make it maximize so you can see it. And you can type in the word margins here and it will tell you how to do it. Okay. It's going to tell you how to do margins. You get help on it, and you can find out help on it. Click on the help button if you want to click on the help button. And after you finish reading it, you can close that help. Okay. here. More help. Making sure I'm not skipping any steps. Okay, it looks like we're finished with the chapter. Signing out of Microsoft account. If you want to sign off of a Microsoft account, then exit work. Now here's where we can finally click the close and upload the assignment. Okay, so that's what we're getting ready to do. But before I do that, I need to go back and fix my margins in this. So apparently I did not do that at the very beginning. So I'll go to layout and margins. It's probably narrow. There we go. So I skipped that step at the very beginning. So now mine looks like the way it's supposed to look. And now I can upload it. So now we're going to go back here. I know this is taking a very long time. That's the way some of these are. So I'm going to go to the textbook project again. And we downloaded the file that we were using, and then we are going to we use the picture. Now to save the work, we're going to put it here, and the expected file name is this. So now we need to change that to that file name. So file, save as, and SDW washing hands flyer formatted. And then we needed to add our name down here. Underscore. Do not put the DOCX right here. Do not put that DOCX. It automatically has it down here and below. So if we type it in, it'll be .docx.docx. We don't want that. It'll give us an error. So we have it here. We click on save. And then we can click and browse our file. Remember, I kept mine in my downloads folder. So downloads. It's right here. Open. And then it gives us a file. And then you save that and submit it. And you're done. And you can click here to locate your grade. I hope this helps you all with Module 1. I know it's very long and a little tedious because it's pretty easy to do. But as you go through these projects, hopefully these videos will help you and it will save you time. If you already know how to do it, you don't have to sit and listen to the teacher talk the whole entire time. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.